Yo, it's IC, the sunny town of Sutton Coldfield, starting his blog again. Here we are. Not that busy today. Right, what I'm out here to talk about. These bollards are still there. Talking about being wrongfully arrested, maliciously prosecuted by two officers from here, although it was a very long time ago. Two officers that actually committed a crime of perjury in court. And I can say that because I received a fair bit of money to drop the case against them. And it's about where this second bollard is here. Now, I'm just over 40 now, but this is going back to when I was 19, but I've not been up here very much, so I thought I'd do a blog on it. This Cafe Nero here was a Millet's and there was no seats there. Now I turned up, like I had been, legitimately badged up. I was staying in a homeless hostel. I put my bag around that second bollard there. Now, if you see where that COVID maintained social distance sign is, there was a guy, an AA salesman, do you know what he used to stop you and get you to sign up for the AA and all that? Well, he was there, went up to him, said, hello, how you doing? What's your target for today? Because they've got to sign up a certain amount of people. I think it was one of those commission-based jobs. And so I had a brief chat with him and went back over to the second bollard there and started. And within a minute, I was pulled over by two police officers in a car, and I'm going to name them both. PC Bernard Hill, now retired, based here at Sutton Coldfield, and PC Kelly, his colleagues know him as Ned Kelly. And a little birdie tells me he's still in the force today and as a firearms officer. And they basically told me to move on, even though I was a legitimate vendor. I've been badged. These pictures were agreed with the council and all that. Basically told me to F off, we don't want your kind here. And I'm just like, you know, whatever. I've got a badge. I'm here legitimately. I'm staying at this place, you know. Life wasn't good for me back then. I left my hometown with my head really down. Kind of ashamed, you know. We all have problems and all that. But he ordered me to move on and I refused. He arrested me under Section 137 of the Highways Act for obstruction of the highways. And I think, Jesus, is this guy for real? And I'm like, okay, now don't get me wrong. I have been arrested before. I've done things wrong, right? Nothing serious, because I actually have a clean DPS now. But if I'm not guilty, which I've been nicked a few times now when I know I haven't been guilty, I will stand my grounds. Yeah. So it's taken me off, and I was in custody for about two and a half hours. So if I go back to where I am now, I'm going to put on the floor so I don't have to focus too much on the customers. I was here, and the AA salesman was here. If I just go in the car, and a lot of you know Sutton, over by that trespass shop, it used to be a flower seller. Yeah. So basically, he's taken us down. I spoke to the duty solicitor, and the custody sergeant has said straight away that take a caution because it was such a low-grade offence at the time. So, and I've said, mate, caution is an admission of guilt. Give me my court date. Okay, now Section 137 of the Highways Act is not exactly crime of the century. It's a very low-grade offence known as a summary offence. You have a summary and indictable, like you have a felony and a misdemeanour. Got a dirty look off that PCS over there. You're wondering what I'm up to. Probably got the cameras on me now, but couldn't care less. Anyway, so went to court, and they denied me legal aid at first, but I stood up and addressed the magistrates. Because when I was released from there, I went back and spoke to the guy selling the AA stuff, basically the AA car insurance, who was stood right below there. I remember him, he used to come out, and his missus, I remember his missus, a blonde-haired girl called Caroline, I think they were from Tamworth. Lovely pair, didn't know him personally, I was just a bit sociable when I spoke to him. And yeah, he gave me his number down. I'm like, because the arresting officer, PC Bernard Hill, said that he'd been watching me with his colleague sat next to him for 10 minutes, and I was jumping in front of everybody like a complete idiot. Don't get me wrong, there are biggie vendors and beggars that are like that, but I'm not certainly one of them. For 10 minutes when I'd been there for like 1 minute after I'd spoken to the guy standing there. So I told the magistrates, I said, well, this is not fair that I don't get legal aid. I said, I'm not guilty of this offence. It doesn't matter whether I'm accused of this or murder. Everybody deserves a fair trial. And I have means to defend myself on this, but I need a legal professional to do it. So I couldn't believe it. And this is me as a young teenager, about 19 or 20 at the time. they reconsidered and granted me legal aid. So this went to court. Yeah, this went to court. And I mentioned you again, PC Bernard Hill, now retired. And PC Kelly, if he's still there, you pair of corrupt, lying scumbags. Yeah, went to court. I was told I was going to get convicted. They said Saturday is very right-wing, magistrates would be funny and all that. Now what's happened, when the officers were questioned, yeah, they said the same stuff they said to me. We were sitting in our car, people were knocking on the window, so put this, you've got the two officers there together, okay, PC Hill, and his colleague next to him, people knocking on the window saying, that guy's being a right arsehole, jumping in front of us, doing this, doing that. God, it's so changed around here. Used to be a Woolworths over there. Anyway, so he's alleged all this, you know, and his co-officer wasn't in court at the time, he was called in separately. So, knock, all these complaints about me, and so on. Then they get his colleague in there. Said, were you sitting next to him? Yeah, 10 minutes, yeah. Do you remember how many people knocked on your car window? No, nobody knocked on the car window, right? And I was at all right. I stood up with my hands on my head in the court. One of the three magistrates, absolutely, hats off to him, they were brilliant. But he's looked at me, told me to sit down, but he's nodded his head as do you know, like an acknowledgement that they're being bullshitted to. They aren't being bullshitted to. It's called perjury, yeah? So after that, the case got immediately thrown out. Now, I've been looking at law and things and studying what my rights for quite some time now. And if I'd known what I knew now, I'd have taken some people to that court with me, because both officers were sitting in the back, and at least the arresting officer, I would have done a section 24A of PACE, citizens arrest under the Perjury Act 1911/1991, okay, and declared the court a crime scene, or at least attempted to. Not something I've deeply looked into just because it was a while back. But yeah, the police should be ashamed of having absolute parasites like these two on it. And I name them again, PC Bernard Hill, now retired, because he was about 50 then. I mean, it just shows if he's 50 years old and still a police constable, he's not very good, is he, if he's not rose up the ranks. The other one was a younger one, but they still lied under their oath. I know the Police Reform Act wasn't around then, but they still swear an oath, and they swear an oath to the court. And I got a nice big payout. Although a gagging order, I wasn't allowed to go to the press with anything because there was actually an article printed on this in the big issue. Point of what I'm saying, don't look down on anyone unless you're helping them up. And it is a good thing to learn your rights. But me, I'm very selective on who I follow on the internet. Now there's a lot of BS and there's a lot of people that go out looking for trouble and confrontations out there. One of them's that audit in Britain, yeah? Now, AB, I'm going to tell you straight up, you're an absolute first-class fucking knob. You travel the country looking for police, looking for a situation so you can get in there. And by the way, those two constables that come round to search your place for somebody who they wanted were perfectly within their rights. You keep saying you're going to sue them, then refuse to give them a name. Mate, you should get a job. Now, I might be doing a blog here, but I've not been to Sutton for quite some time. And I'm talking about what happened. And I received about 4,000 payout. Not bad for about 2.5 hours tops in custody at Sutton Coldfield, Nick. So I acknowledged that both of their officers were a little bit naughty, that they lied, they wrongfully arrested me, the prosecution was malicious, and that they lied in court. Yeah, lying in court, you know. Again, I thought that was always known as perjury, which is an indictable offence. But they weren't too interested in the charges back then. But believe me, I wish I know what I knew now. So, yeah, there's a lot going on in the world now. We've got COVID and all that. And I really think more people should knowledge themselves up. Now, fuck that audit in Britain, yeah? If you really want to look at a good website which will tell you the law for how it is, and someone explains it, go to CrimeBotch. Waterstones, yeah? You can go in there and ask for the Blackstones Police Operational Handbook. You see, this is what the police use themselves. It has every piece of law, legislation, codes of practice, everything from PACE, Police and Criminal Evidence Act, which is commonly used. One thing that I do record a lot and despise is TV licensing, yeah? Never ever going to pay for that again. I don't watch live TV anyway. Watch Amazon Prime most of the time. I've never paid since the Jimmy Savile cover-up, you know. not funding their paedophile ring. So when these nasties from Capita come to my door trying to give it the big one and all that, oh, we're enforcement officers. No, mate, you're just a third-party company and all that, you know. So people up here, learn your rights, yeah? Seriously. Learn what you can and can't do. The police can't just come and stop me now and demand I tell them everything I'm doing just because I'm out filming. I'm moving my camera so nobody can complain that I'm focusing on them or harassing them, yeah? It'd only be focused on anybody if any police or that PCSO gone by that gave me a funny look would stop. So Crime Bodge, I think that guy is absolutely amazing, yeah? You need to watch his videos, because if you check his videos, if you can get the Blackstones, you just put whatever statute or act they're quoting into legislation.gov and it'll give you the proper meaning with the codes of practices and so on, yeah? So yeah, now I can zoom right back in. It's over by that sign, the AA guy was standing under, and he come to court for me. Yeah, the AA guy come to court as an independent witness. He didn't know me, and most people then wouldn't have bothered twice with a big issue seller. Even he said he'd seen a few that were complete twats while he was working, but I was completely different. At the end of the day, just be nice and sociable with people. A lot of homeless people I see now, some of them are really nice people, and some of them, well, they think the world owes them a favour. And I saw that myself in my dark days, you know. But never look down on someone unless you're helping them up. Have compassion for people, and don't let the elitists, the high up people in the world, the police, take liberties with you unless you really are being naughty. But if you're going about your business lawfully, stand your ground, yeah? So yeah, PC Bernard Hill, now retired. He must be about 70, he must have been at least 45, 50 odd when he nicked me. PC Bernard Hill, I'm calling you out. You are a criminal. You committed perjury against me, yeah? And you, if you still are PC Kelly, if it was true what I heard, that you were moved to a firearms officer, but you know what is the most scariest thing about this? If you can do that to a lowly little big issue seller who's just come out to sell his magazines, it would have been in the year 99, not been it, but if you can do that, I hate to think, and it's actually quite a scary thought, to think how many people have been sitting in prison cells falsely because of you two committing perjury. I mean, if you can do that to get me falsely convicted, even though it didn't work, God knows what else you can do. And you know, people wonder why the police have such a bad reputation on here. So, you know, it's a lot to go out. It's a lovely day here in Sutton. I'm not the biggest for Cafe Nero. I don't know, I'm going to go get myself a coffee somewhere. So yeah, I highly recommend Crime Bodge. And if the guy who owns it, I know people know your name, but I'm not going to say it. I owe you some massive thanks. I studied your video, studied your website. Then I started studying a lot of the stuff around it from independent sources, you know, like you do on legislation.gov. And I don't get into this. I had people try to move me into this freedom of the land movement, where you just try to say statutes and acts don't apply to you, but I've never seen anybody actually pull that off successfully, and I mean successfully when they've walked out of court. I've always seen them getting sent down screaming. So I thought the most useful thing to do was to learn the law, learn the legislation, learn the codes of practices, because very often the codes of practices are not practiced properly. Okay, so whoop! I'll give a that's me, although I'm looking a bit cut up today. Some people might know who I am now, but I couldn't really care less. So I'm just going to take a little walk down to the end of Sutton now while I finish this. But yeah, that was my case, my story, arrested under section 137 here in Sutton Coldfield by criminal PC Bernard Hill, now retired, and criminal PC Kelly, known to his colleagues as Ned Kelly. I hope he's not trigger happy the way he was happy enough to commit perjury. I know he was a young officer, but you know what? You should know right from wrong. You swore that oath to the Queen, and you didn't honour it, did you? Nor your code of ethics. So yeah, stand your ground. I mean, but just be careful. Be careful these days who you watch. There's so much misinformation on the internet as well. You know, as I say, Crime Bodge. There are a few other good ones as well, good examples of how people can, you see people handle situations in a better manner and they stand up to the police. I think the biggest thing when it comes to the police now, sometimes they will deliberately try to antagonise you, and you don't swear at them, yeah? The moment you swear at them, they'll hit you with a Section 5. If they're not getting anything out of you, yeah, you know you don't have to give you details, just because they want them. And I think the guy in Crime Bodge always says this: get your phone out and film them. They're always filming you. And remember, every detail that they have about you, if they have you on film, or if you're arrested on film, you can ascertain all of the CCTV image, all of their body cam image, everything that's wrote about you in their notebooks, everything that is put down by putting a subject access request in. But if you listen to them on Crime Bodge, sometimes they try to get snidey and go over the 31-day mark. But I've learned so much now, I don't tend to get any trouble anymore. So I'm going to upload this. I'm not an expert at blogging, and I'm not here to have any confrontations with anyone like that idiot of audit in Britain. I would be looking for the police by now. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not have to tell you. I'm just blogging. I'm recording. I'm allowed to record. Yeah, yes, we know we're allowed to record. That was confirmed in a letter by Andrew Trotter, head of the British Transport Police. And he was also head of the BTP. Sorry, British Transport Police, head of BTP, head of the Association of Chief Police Constables as well. Okay, and he wrote that letter out. You can find it online where he actually states for his officers to stop, basically to stop obstructing people from filming. I mean, when people are doing it at football matches and stuff like that, and there's a kick-off, they soon love people filming. Then when they could pick the hooligans out, oh look, there's them, here's them, oh look, there's that guy, we're going to go around and nick him tomorrow. They're very, very quick then. But anyway, everyone be lucky, be happy, learn your rights, be safe in these very uncertain times. You know, we're getting a lot put on us with all this COVID stuff. There's a lot of uncertainty. You must have the vaccine, you must do this, you must do that for that job, you know. Do what you want to do. Just remember, your body is your body, your mind is your mind. Think for yourself. Stop letting the media and all that get into your head. Think for yourself and learn for yourself, defend yourself and look after yourself. Remember, it doesn't matter what colour, what religion we believe in or what we don't, yeah? We're still all brothers and sisters on this planet, yeah? So let's start acting like it and looking after each other. So bang that one out, and a special thank you to PC Bernard Hill and to PC Ned Kelly for the payment I got, because I managed to start a business up with that. People might think I'm just saying that, but I did. I run a business for 15 years. It got me well back on my feet. And any of these people that are out here, there's nobody out here today selling the big issue. Maybe that's a good thing. But anybody that is out here who has been on their arse or is finding times tough, I hope times change for you and things get better. So all the best. This is IC signing off. Yeah, I might do another few blogs here or there, but I'm not going to get into a mad obsession on it. So adios all, and peace, love and respect to you all.